justice for all.
Good morning and welcome to this March 7th Clinton County Commissioner meeting. First up is public comment, and this is for those that are not on the agenda somewhere else, so I'll open it up if we have any public comment. Okay, seeing none. I'm going to move some things around to give Tom a little bit more time here, so we were going to go to Matt Neal with the 2021 Fair Council report. Morning, Matt.
Morning.
Hey, how are you guys?
I'm good. How are you?
You don't know this, Loretta
Sure.
Pearson, our treasurer of
Thanks.
the Fair Council. Just a quick overview of 2021. Loretta ran a profit and loss statement for you for the year, and kind of breaks down some of the income from barn rents. What we got, most of the fair money was from the carnival and Huseman's. Bear Hollow and some of the other grandstand events that we had during Fair Week. Barn rent is kind of what we get rental from the horse barns and some of them. And then moving on down, I think we've got in there also a rental for winter storage
Yep.
as part of our income. On the expense side, I think she broke it down pretty well in terms of what we spent advertising, the alarm, and the show arena, the problems we've had, which you guys are well aware, on some repairs there. Moving on down, with our fair expenses, most of that's just the expenses putting on the fair, and I think, the mowing, what we paid mowing. Fortunately, we made some adjustments and really didn't have to pay anything out for snow removal. Thank you to the Clinton County garage for helping us out with that to help save a little money there. Yeah, and then utilities are other major expense, water, sewage, electric, typical. Other than that, we're fairly excited that we had a profit considering COVID, because our building rentals, because of health, were way down. So with the change, we're kind of expecting that to probably increase this coming year in terms of income. And I think right now we got a little over $26,000 in our checking account.
Do you have a rough idea what it was like pre-COVID, say 18 or 19?
We could pull that up, but
I didn't know if you had an idea.
We didn't pull that. I know.
I would say anywhere from like 10 to 12,000.
Okay.
So we were down a little bit, but it just depends on what people are looking for as far as where they want to rent, and a lot of it depends on whether they can have alcohol, even though they can. They've just got the added expense, and other places they don't have that. So.
Yep.
And if you've got any further questions, feel free to ask. But overall, as a board, we were pretty happily surprised that we were able to turn a profit.
Good.
I do have a quick question for you.
Yeah.
Anytime you guys have, like, I know recently we've had more problems with the sprinkler system, and I don't know what that came in at, but anytime you have something like that, I mean, like last year, I think we handled that through our budget when we did the extensive repairs.
Yes.
If you recall. So any major building repairs like that, I mean, I don't know how you feel, Jordan, but I think that's over and above what the council gives you every year to operate on. That's something that we need to be helping you with. So don't hesitate to bring the big, large ticket items back, because it's pretty obvious you guys run that thing on a shoestring anyway. And so we really appreciate that. And the place always looks great. I never hear any complaints. So thank you very much.
Well, and just for everybody's, the new horse manure thing that we put out there, we were able to recoup quite a bit of that money through the State Harness Racing Association.
Oh, cool.
Grant. So they did reimburse us on a lot of that. So we're taking a little bit of that money this spring, and we're gonna put a nice shell over the other manure pit to, basically we're gonna leave that pit the same, but we're just gonna put a nice green and white shell over it to make it look nice, since we were surprised that we were able to get that extra
That's
money.
great.
And then also in our, we've kind of condensed some of our rentals down a little bit. I think I shared with you guys,
Yeah.
after seeing some of the structure point and some of the shape the building is, the horse barn number 3, we are planning to tear down this spring, because we've just kind of deemed it not safe enough,
Yeah.
for rentals
Is that the old one in the middle?
No, that'd be the old one closest to the poultry barn.
Okay.
Okay.
We have, basically, those are not harness racing, that's not a harness racing barn anyway.
Right.
So we upped our rates, this year and condensed them down to barn 7, which is the far north barn, closest to the track.
Yeah.
So all the, what I call hobby, riders and not professional.
Right.
Because we're trying to get more professional trainers in because, we're finding that the more we can get that, the better our income is.
Sure. Yeah. Awesome. That's all I had.
I just appreciate the
Yeah.
report.
Yeah.
Hey,
And,
no problem.
We are
Nice.
changing that though. Beardsley's is gonna actually start doing a lot of the bookkeeping for us. We'll
Okay.
still write our own checks, so hopefully we'll get, the way Allison talked, we'll get quarterly reports.
Okay,
based on
cool.
that, so.
Good. Perfect, appreciate it.
All right.
Thank you guys for coming.
Thanks, guys.
Tom, you good? Okay, all right. Next up is Mark Horton with the vacation of the alley in Cambria. Morning, Mark.
Good morning.
Everybody,
How are you?
seen better days, seen worse days.
Yeah.
It's been quite a little adventure on this one.
Yeah, so I think this is, you've been here before, so this is the second time, and we had some amendments that needed to be made, so, Tom, did they meet satisfaction? Okay, so,
And I know Liz is, I talked to Liz and she's okay with it as well from the very plans.
Okay.
Everything that we were talking about is included in the description now.
Great.
So there's no county land that ends up being an island.
okay,
So we have no objection either to it.
okay. You have anything you'd like to add, Mr. Horton? Nope? Okay,
All right, I'll make a motion. We approve the vacation of the alleyway in Cambria, adjacent to Mr. Horton's property.
I will second. Motion carries 2-0.
Keep going.
Thank you. Do I need to sign a second copy?
No, because it wasn't,
Okay.
it was the one he turned in.
All right. Rick with a highway update.
Oops. That's mine.
Morning, Rick.
Morning.
I don't think I gave you that yet.
Have the consultant's contract for Bridge 67. It needs to be signed by the commissioners and Britt.
Okay.
Thanks, sir.
We've just been dealing with high water and most of it's went away. We've been grading gravel roads and spreading a few that need it, and we got the patchers out and we're Durapatching, and we started spreading stone, or started hauling stone in today. So that's where we're at.
Yeah.
And also, we're putting the new solar speed limit signs up in front of Prairie today.
Okay.
Oh,
I don't
awesome.
know if we'll get them activated or not, but we'll at least get them up,
Yeah.
so.
Did we ever get the speed limit signs for Antioch Road? Remember we did that study?
Yes, and right after that, we had a big snow and it got forgotten about, and we just got them up last week.
Okay,
Great.
good deal. Perfect.
Thank you.
Yeah, thanks, Rick.
Thanks, Rick.
Next is Liz with area plan update. Morning, Liz.
Good morning. I'm pretty short and simple this morning. I guess the main thing is I've got to call Tom, but we're in process of working through the administrative side on the unsafe structures that you guys voted on at your last meeting, making sure we don't need to give any last notice before we do our condemnation, but we're following up on that. We've just all been kind of busy and sent some emails but haven't touched base. So, and then the other thing is, by way of a reminder, because It is March. We just had a 70-degree day. I'm just going to go out on a limb and guess the grass is going to start growing in the next month, whether we want it to or not.
Yeah.
And as far as I know, we don't have a contract signed with a mower for us to refer those properties that we cite that do not mow to. So we need to make sure we have that in place before, once we start citing, we have 10 days for them to mow, and then we have to go in and mow. So
Gotcha.
we don't want to end up citing stuff and then with a long delay because we don't have somebody to call. So just wanting to make sure that doesn't fall through the cracks. I know there's a lot of other stuff going on, but as soon as that stuff gets more than 7 inches tall, it'll become something we have to
phone calls.
act on.
Would it be possible to have you get us a couple proposals from the options so that we could look through them at our next meeting to?
Yeah, I can try to do that. I'll follow up with Jerry and Tom because I think the contract from the last few years is on
We've only
file. Yeah, we have
one better.
Right.
the one.
Yeah, we were lucky to get one.
So-
Was it the same, was it the same gentleman?
Yeah.
Mr. Keller?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
So, but yeah, I mean, I can try to have Kat maybe call around and see if there's anybody else who is interested,
Okay.
if you'd like.
I can get a hold of Mr. Keller. That's not a problem.
Yeah, we'll put it on the agenda for the 21st, I believe, is our meeting. So
Okay.
that we can get something done. I don't
So
think.
do you want us to just wait and let you guys communicate, or are you wanting us to try to see if there's other interest in holding a bidding process versus continuing with the same?
I mean, I would
contractor?
think we would explore any option. I'm
Okay,
kind of like Josh, I'm not sure we'll get a lot of interest. But the more options we have
Sure.
to choose from, I think it's a better.
we'll try to run a check of what landscaping companies are in the area and maybe try to make a few calls and just see whether or not there's interest in that.
Yeah, sounds good.
Right.
Okay, thank you, Liz.
Thanks, Liz.
Okay, next up, we have a McGuire Iron Payoff, number 3. This would be for the water tower out at 65 and 28. So,
Motion to approve pay app number 3 for McGuire Iron for the construction of an elevated water tower.
motion carries 2-0. Okay, no signature. All right, moving on, we have the Gibson software assurance quote, which is so we had changed our phone system from AT&T to Gibson, and this is the yearly fee for maintenance, the annual maintenance contract with them, and it comes in at roughly $2,100 for maintenance with Gibson. So,
Motion to approve the Gibson software assurance quote.
motion carries 2-0. Let's see. Next up is the FirstNet Agreement. So I'll give a little bit of background and context. Josh, you may be familiar with this, the FirstNet network.
Yes.
So FirstNet approached the county about upgrading all of our cell phones to this network, which is currently available for first responders. It was created during the 9/11 Commission. And so how it works, from my understanding, is it takes all the cell phone frequency to the band 14, which essentially allows all of the first responders and then the other county phones to be on a different network than a civilian network. And so we have the opportunity to get all of our phones on that, and then we'll be able to adjust the levels. So there's 5 levels within, and level 1 would be basically the highest speed, highest priority network, and then 5 would be the lowest. And so anytime there would potentially be some issue in the county that we need to, I'll use the example of when we had the snowstorm. We could have elevated county highways from a level 4 up to a level 2 so that they had priority. The one other good thing about this is by doing this, we get to upgrade all of our phones to, there's 2 options in the iPhone. I believe it's the 12 and maybe the 13. So it's just a 1 year later model, where currently we're running on like 7s and 8 models. And then there's 2 options in the Samsung for the Android as well. And the nice thing is that any phone that we would upgrade would be 99 cents. And then they will buy our current phones back for somewhere between $35 and $70. Ultimately, on our bill from a monthly perspective, it's only going to increase or decrease by $5. They couldn't give me an exact amount just yet until we see who signs up and who doesn't.
Sure.
And they're going to come here and set up. We'll have at least one day where they'll set up in the commissioner's room, and everyone can come and change out their phone and get the new SIM card, and they'll transfer over all the contacts. So it almost, in a way, sounds too good to be true. But I mean, I think
I have it.
you have it, yeah. So you know how it works and
Yeah.
how it could be beneficial across the county for us. So I would, unless there's any questions, I would entertain a motion to make an adjustment to our phone contract to go to the FirstNet, which is still on the AT&T network. It's just, it rides on a different bandwidth. Yes, Liz?
Question, I don't know how much it affects other departments, but are there any changes to, how data is managed? For the current contract, we could use, unlimited data. Now we hit a cap with the iPads, which can be problematic sometimes. We used to be able to use tethering, and now we can't. So
Okay.
I don't care which way it is, but it's a question about whether anything, because we, working in the field, constantly use a lot of data, and then there's times it used to be nice to be able to tether and have, instead of having to pay for separate hotspots. So I just wondered if there were any changes on the data side, or if they're just the same, and it's which the phones are.
It'll upgrade everything to unlimited.
Okay.
So that's the other, sorry, missed one of my bullet points that I was
No,
looking
that's
through. So,
perfect.
but that's a
I
great
think
question.
right now to be able to do tethering, then it changes the data and makes it more, so anyway, no, that would be.
Yeah, so it'll be unlimited, which is another, I think, advantage
It
for
sounds
us.
like it.
So,
Yeah, so no, it sounds great, no objection at all.
so yeah, we'll, I guess,
I'll make a motion to approve the FirstNet agreement with AT&T to upgrade all of our cellular devices.
motion carries 2-0. We will work on getting a date set up when that transition can happen, and we'll have Jerry send out an email to all the department heads and kind of get it flowing that way. So, great. All right. Next up is a Wessler Engineering wastewater and water supplement amendment 2. This is an amendment to the original contract because the project for 65 and 28 was extended by 2 months, and the original agreement ended on a specific date. So this was an extension of time to finish that project, and it's for $50,000 for their services to oversee the project. And this amount is not additional money. It had already been accounted for in our bond. Back in December, they had worked with the Baker Tilly, our financial advisor, in terms of getting everything set up. So we're not spending any additional money. We're just signing off on paying them for their services.
I'll make a motion to approve the Wessler Engineering wastewater and water supply amendment number 2.
Motion carries 2-0. So we have we received 3 quotes for the extension office. When we had wind there, it's been a lot of windy days, but I believe it was a couple weeks ago now. The siding got ripped off, and it was more than just kind of a patch job. So we received 3 quotes to repair that, and it has the blue layer of siding, and then above where the siding came off is white. They're going to take all that down and redo it.
Okay.
And so the first quote is from Code Red Restoration for $4,390.14. The second is from Restoration One for $7,274.19. And the third is from Welty's for $3,616.
Okay.
So if you have any questions, or if you want to move forward with it, I think right now it's patched to service it until the next windstorm, basically.
So all 3 quotes were for vertical?
Yes, I
Okay.
believe so.
Okay. Well, Make a motion to approve Welty, the low bidder for $3,616.
Motion carries 2-0 to approve Welty for the 4-H extension. Next up, we will go to department head reports. We have any department heads that would like to? Good morning, Renee.
One of our trainees decided that dispatching was not for her. So we are accepting applications again.
I saw that.
So, but
Yeah.
yeah, so I hate it, but again, it's not
That's a
for
tough
everybody.
job.
So I told her,
Yeah, it's not for everybody.
you're not, you're not the first and unfortunately won't be the last.
Yeah.
So we are accepting applications again. The only other thing I have next week is severe weather preparedness week, so we will have a full activation of the tornado sirens on Tuesday in conjunction with the statewide testing. And they used to do it twice a day, and they stopped that, I don't know, a couple of years ago. So it's usually between 10 and 10:30
That's
that
on the
they do it. So
15th?
yes,
Like a
is
week?
that
Yeah.
Tuesday? It's
I think so,
Tuesday.
yeah,
Yes,
next Tuesday,
yes.
yeah.
So we will do that and have the
Okay.
full activation on that.
Awesome.
Other than that, I don't think I have anything unless you have anything for me.
I do not.
I do not.
No,
Okay,
no.
all right.
Thank you. See some others. Anyone want to go? Brave enough to step up? Rodney?
Make sure the ones that need to go first. Morning, gentlemen.
Morning,
Morning.
Rodney.
Other than just come in and give you what an update might be for what we're doing right now, from the state's perspective, the last couple of weeks on webinars, we've been looking at demobilization plans from the state side, so
Okay.
that might fall in line with from the layperson's hearing of things on television and in the news. In a nutshell, what we're looking at from a public health perspective is we've been living with this for 2 years now. We've done lots of educating to a lot of folks about what we need to be smart about.
Right.
It's moving, if not already moved, from the pandemic to an endemic stage at this point, which means it's there in certain populations, but not worldwide spread per se right at
Right.
the moment. So we're kind of moving that direction. That means we're looking at demobilizing from the plan that I brought to you 2 years ago, all the different stages that you guys looked at and approved. We're going back to the stage of monitoring,
Okay.
which is what we do for any type of infectious disease that might be new or known to the population. And monitoring basically consists right now of testing. So we're going to try to keep testing available until the end of June or right around that time. Working with Daryl, because obviously springtime's here. My hat's off again, and thanks to the fire department, City of Frankfort Fire Department, a couple of times now have helped us keep our tent up out there to keep shelter in a clinical setting for that. But so we're going to try to work our vaccine situation into the immunization clinic rather than having standalones by the end of March. That will be where we're moving with that as well. So, but we will be looking at moving out to the schools, doing catch-up vaccinations anyway with our trailer setup and our relationship we built with them over the last 2 years to try to get regular vaccines and continue to offer COVID if it's necessary. So that's an update from that perspective. And any questions that you may have. Testing's light right now. It's odd that a month ago I had more people coming in for testing than I could get through in a day, and now we're down to 5 or 10. We stand ready in case that changes, basically, so keep our fingers crossed. So from a national perspective, obviously the Ukraine situation has gotten everyone's attention off on a different track as well. So we are looking at some legislation on another note that may change public health and actually will in the case of lead cases and in our investigation of lead. So with me mentioning that to you, they're offering us a grant to do additional lead visits and assessments. So I wanted you to be aware it wouldn't be a full-time position. It would just be part-time funding for someone. So also not sure how it will come out yet, but there are some legislations going through actually just passed that deal with on-site septic sewage systems, so, and the approval and/or timelines of those. So, I haven't had opportunity to completely determine the impact of that on our department, but I'm certain there will be some, and I'm going to try to get up to speed with what it will be. And
Well, they're proposing a time limit for you to get there to approve it? Is that what they're trying to do?
exactly, and also the idea that, among other things, that they can override some disallowances of things. They basically, and I'm curious as how they've done so, they've basically picked that particular set of legislation and pulled out the home rule out of it, stating that we can no longer have anything more restrictive than what's already in the state code, which I find ironic considering home rule is wider than just that piece of legislation. However, Tom may be able to educate me on that at some point. But, there are several challenges that we're going to have to try to adapt to. So, and that may have impact on our department.
Sure.
So when you say they, you're referring to the state coming in and making
The state legislature.
The state legislature changed the rules, made amendments that now change what we can and can't do at the state and local level. Whatever the state code now says might be as restrictive as we can be, and in many cases, we already have our own septic ordinance in place since either '05 or '07 that does make some of our things a little more restrictive than the state. So there are areas where the state code doesn't really touch upon, that we've used that as our opportunity to add things in that we think are necessary in our particular locations, and those may now be at risk. But the state is saying they're going to update the state code, but certainly they can't update it to cover everybody's little innuendos and ordinances that they have in place. So we'll see some impact from that. So,
Okay, interesting. I don't have any other questions.
hey, thank you for your time. as
Thanks,
well.
Rodney.
Thanks for the update, Rodney. Any other department heads? Okay, seeing none, I'll move on. Commissioners report.
I have none.
Okay, we have a lot going on, but nothing to update at the moment, so we will move to claims. We have claims dated February 18th in the amount of $54,175.97. Claims dated February 25th in the amount of $40,137.71. Claims dated March 4th in the amount of $74,593.65. Claims dated March 4th in the amount of $2,191.34. Biweekly claims for March 7th in the amount of $372,544.95. And court claims dated March 7th in the amount of $49,236.47.
I'll make a motion to approve the claims as read.
Claims approved 2-0. Next, we have payroll dated February 11th in the amount of $463,452.13.
Motion to approve payroll.
Motion carries 2-0. Lastly, we have regular minutes from February 14th and executive session minutes from February 21st.
Motion to approve minutes.
Motion carries 2-0 on the minutes. Seeing no other business, I will entertain a